Hello guys, Paul here. Today I'm going to do a shaving video with a new soap that I got. This soap was recommended to me by Jason Alter from The Big Shave. And the soap is the Topanga Fougere from the LA Shaving Soap Company. And this is a vegetarian or vegan friendly soap that is the Fougere scent, and I've become quite a fan of Fougere scent soaps, and I love the Martin de Condé Fougere and the Queen Charlotte Fougere soaps, and this one smells great. You know, it's definitely similar to the Martin de Condé, but that one is more earthy, has more kind of that forest floor earthy scent. This is got a little bit more sweetness on the top end than that, but it's similar, and it's a lovely smelling soap, and I found that it performs really well. It is a soft soap, so if any of you are familiar with the Queen Charlotte Cream, which is to me more of a soft soap, this is about the same consistency as that. And today I'm going to be using a razor that was my grandfather's razor. This is the Gillette Toggle. As a kid I used to play shave with this razor, and when I started wet shaving, I always remembered that the razor. I never knew what it was until I kind of got more into the hobby, and then realized that I was playing with a fairly rare razor that's quite desirable. So when I was talking to my mom a few months back, I was telling her about the razor, and she said, "Oh, I think we have that in the medicine cabinet in the bathroom." So she went back and looked, and sure enough it was there. So when I was back home a few weeks ago for a high school class reunion, my mom gave it to me, and so this is my grandfather's Gillette Toggle razor. He really never used it very much. I guess he didn't really like the way it shaved, and so he bought it and gave it to my dad, and he never really used it that much either, because when he was young he used to use a electric razor when he was in college back in the day, and so this kind of became my play razor, and I'm now reunited with it, and I couldn't be more excited. I've used it a few times, and I actually found it to be a little bit more aggressive than like the Gillette Fat Boy. I don't know if it's just me, the way it feels on my face, but it seems to be a more aggressive feeling razor. And I'm going to be using a Gillette Silver Blue today in the toggle. And in order to give this soap a real try, and just to kind of demonstrate how good it lathers, I'm going to use a very tiny brush, and that brush would be the Wee Scot, and I'm going to try and demonstrate how good this soap is. I found that in using it and trial lathering it, it really lathers great. So I'm going to go ahead and start just creating a lather here on the puck with the and I'm kind of shook the brush out a little bit, but the brush is fairly wet. Because it's small, it doesn't hold a ton of water, but I'm just going to go ahead, and you can kind of see that the soap really lathers up pretty quickly, and it makes a nice creamy rich lather, which whenever I hear that the soap is a vegan friendly soap, I'm always a little bit skeptical about how good it's going to lather. But this one doesn't disappoint. You would never know it's a vegetable based soap from the way it lathers. If no one told you that, you would think it was just a regular old tallow based soap. So okay, so I think we got a good amount of lather there. I'm just going to set that aside in case I need more. There we go. I'm just going to wet my face here, and I've applied the Innsbruck emulsion as my pre-shave, and I've been using this quite a bit lately, and I found that I really like that as a pre-shave. It seems to work pretty good. It's kind of a it's not real thick, but it's not like watery either. So any of you guys who've never used the Wee Scot, this brush really is pretty pretty much a wonderful little brush. It really performs much better than you would ever anticipate based on its diminutive size. It is incredibly tiny, but it will hold enough lather for a good 3 to 4 pass shave without any problem. And the nice thing about it is because of its size, you can really precisely place the lather. You don't get a lot of overflow or lather in areas that you don't want, and that's really a nice feature of it. So as you can see, the soap forms a real nice lather. I'm just going to add just a touch more water to it, and then we'll get going here. Smooth it out a bit here. A little bit more water to this side. The only downside with the brush is because it is so small, the handle's small, so you know it's a little bit more difficult to hold on to. You got to kind of hold it with your fingertips. But it works really good. So there you go. So we've got a nice creamy rich lather, and we'll go ahead and start shaving. I'm just going to set the brush down there. Put a little more water in my kettle here just in case I need to re-water this, and I'll just go ahead and dip my brush and we'll go ahead and get started. Just clean off the sideburns and the ears, and we'll get going here. So like I said, I found that the Toggle was a little bit more aggressive than the Fat Boy. And I've been using it on I was using it on a setting of 7, and I've actually turned it down for this shave to a setting of 6, which so far in the first pass feels just about right for me. I would compare the feel of that first pass to, you know, kind of the feeling I would get with my Gillette Aristocrat, which is really one of my favorite vintage Gillette razors. I find that I get a really great shave with the Aristocrat, and I use it quite often. So, okay, pass number 2. As you can see, plenty of lather in the brush there. So just go across the grain here. Try and be gentle across my Adam's apple. I know I'm not stretching it, so sometimes that will result in a nick, but I'm just trying to go across that area with very little pressure. Okay, pass number 2 done, no problemo. And go ahead and lather up for pass number 3. So as you can see, again, plenty of lather in that little brush for the third pass, and I'm sure there's enough for a fourth one there as well. And the soap, the lather is still nice and creamy. No bubbliness or breakdown of the lather at all, which I really like. So this is just an across the grain pass on my neck, just in the opposite direction as the last one, and then I'll go against the grain on my cheeks here. Down the midline, that is more or less against the grain. On the side though, it's coming this way, is across the grain. And the silver blue blade is always a pretty dependable blade for me. Seems to work quite well. And it's a nice smooth shave. And works really well in a variety of razors. So I'm just going to do a little against the grain here on my neck. And then we'll call it good. So on my jawline, again, right here, the hair grows this way, so I'm going to just kind of come against the grain on the jawline there. And just a little blade buffing right in through here, because this tends to be an area where I get a little bit of, have a little bit of trouble getting smooth. So. Okay. Okay, and that's pretty much it. So there's the brush. There's about what we have left over. So maybe enough for another half a pass or so. The Wee Scot really is an amazing little brush. I don't use it every day. I mean, I break it out every once in a while. You know, because I like some of the bigger handles. I think they're, for me, a little bit more comfortable in the hand. But this little brush, is a great size for travel. But you could definitely use it every day and be perfectly happy with it. It really works amazingly well. It's when I first got it, I was just shaking my head at the size of the thing. It looked like a little toy or something you'd put on a keychain, like a rabbit's foot. But doggone it, that brush, that little tiny brush, really does one heck of a job. It really is it's a wonder. I don't know how they do it, but it's a great little brush. So for my aftershave, this is a relatively new aftershave for me. I bought some soaps from Mama Bear's, and I noticed she had some aftershave balms, and she had a mentholated aftershave balm. This is the Summer Ice, and this is her aftershave balms come unscented, and the scent is not, the unscented scent is not great. It kind of smells like witch hazel, which I'm sure there probably is some in there. I didn't really read the ingredients, and they kind of wiped off after I got the back of it wet. But it's even though it looks kind of milky in color, it's more of a liquidy emulsion type of aftershave product. But it does have really good moisturizing characteristics and some nice menthol. And I believe you can request different fragrances be put in it, which if you have a favorite Mama Baird's fragrance that you like, I'm sure she will be happy to put that fragrance in there for you. I just added some lavender, patchouli, and a little eucalyptus essential oils to it, and kind of enhance the smell a little bit. It smells great. I like it. It doesn't really, the scent doesn't last super duper long, which is good if you want to wear cologne. It goes on like an aftershave splash. It's kind of liquidy like that, but it's more moisturizing than a splash, and it leaves your skin feeling really moisturized. It's got a nice little menthol kick to it, which I really enjoy, as many of you know. So anyways, I really enjoyed the shave. The LA Shaving Soap Company Topanga Fougere is definitely a good find. I appreciate Jason for finding that and recommending it. It's a great soap. I enjoy it a lot. I like the scent a lot, and I would highly recommend that soap. I have no problem lathering it with my hard water. It lathers very, very easily. I wouldn't be put off by the fact that it's a vegan friendly soap. It performs great, just up there with any other high quality soap. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Have a great rest of the weekend, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.